So I'm reposting this video because the first time I was just trying to get it out. I wanted to meet my personal deadline. But this one, the repost is me wanting to include a little backdrop. So the backstory is I had a dream about Rickie, Dr. Byars. And when I woke up, I was like, this is a person that I want to talk to. I want to sit down and I want to have a conversation with her. And so the very next day, I saw her. like, I hardly ever see her in public, but I saw her. Unfortunately, it was like after the death of Sika, the passing of one of Lamert Park's finest. And we were there and just celebrating his life and reminiscing. And I asked her, I said, would you mind, sitting down with me and letting me interview you? And she graciously agreed. I followed up the way she told me to, and I didn't hear from her. And I was like, okay. I couldn't, or I would not allow myself to get in my feelings. I was like, she's a busy woman, not a problem. What needs to happen will happen. And then months went by, and I was just compelled one day to reach out again, months later, and I did. And to my surprise, kind of a confirmation, really, she responded, and here we are. So I just wanted to share that backstory, I guess, for anybody who has something that they want to do and challenges come along the way, or it doesn't turn out the way you want it to or think it should. That things do happen, and you have to stay hopeful, stay positive, and know that, again, what needs to happen will happen. So that's the backstory for that. Be encouraged, and I do hope that you enjoy this interview.
I woke up twice. Okay, and so I went to bed and so I woke up twice. Actually, this morning, I woke up in prayer for those who've been so severely impacted by these fires, and I woke up with questions as to, does it really make sense to remain in Los Angeles right now, and stuff like that. So I didn't wake up with music this morning. I woke up in caring.
For those who don't know, if you could tell us, like, where you were born and when did you arrive in LA?
Okay, I was born in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I came to Los Angeles in December of 1982. So technically 83, sort of, but really the last month of 1982, with a little baby who was about 7 months old. And pretty soon I would find out that I was pregnant again with Georgia, who was going to be my little girl. I had a son. And so I've been here in Los Angeles for 41 years.
Beautiful years. Yes, thank you.
Discover it, because when I first came to LA, to Los Angeles, I didn't like it at all. I didn't see the beauty in it. It rained every day, which we could use that rain now, but in 1983, it was raining every day, and it would be a while before I could see the sun coming through the lush green and that climate. But and my friends were all on the East Coast, so the people that I was meeting were the people who my husband knew. So I married someone that I didn't know that well. I married fast. I did things fast when I was younger, you know, and I won't say that was bad. It wasn't wise, but it wasn't bad, because I have a beautiful son and daughter, you know, and so I'm thankful for all the ways that I was not so smart, because my lessons would be about learning what it means to be wise, and not just smart, but wise. And so the journey in Los Angeles brought me to people who would lead me to the roads of wisdom. Yeah, and it was kind of like prophesied that I would come to the West. I didn't know it was Los Angeles, but everybody from LA, when they would meet me in New York, they'd go like, "You belong in LA." You know, it's like, you don't belong here, because my heart and my music. I was a composer, and I had all this idealism and all this integrity. You know, they were like, you don't need to be around these people. You know. So when I met a man who was he's from Chicago, but lived in Los Angeles, had made Los Angeles his home, and he came to Manhattan to work, but also to find that country girl from the South. This is what his mentor told him: you need to go to New York and find one of them country girls up there. And it's a funny story, but we did find each other and married and came here. And I would learn about relationships, learn about what it means to really have good friends, and to remember your friends, even when the people you're with are trying to box you away from your friends, you know, because that happens in relationships sometimes, you know. So the journey to what made Los Angeles really special, and what continues to make LA special, is, for me, that something that is unbridled in optimism. You know, that thing that wants to try new ideas, you know, to go for it. But it's not like in a Martin Luther King kind of way. You know, it's a fresh way. Not that Martin's way wasn't fresh. Martin's way was very fresh, you know, for the times especially, and even for these times. But it's like there's, I don't know, there's that idealism, that joy, that wonder, that creativity, because you don't have the problems and the weight. Well, we have the problems, but it's different in the West than it is in the South. You know, so the West, it's like your dreams can come true here. That's what it felt like. Yeah.
It's kind of like it's not only an energy, which it is. I think those energy vortexes that, you know, they speak of sometimes manifest in this way, in that feeling, but also that ideal of the pioneering spirit, like that's what the West represents. Right?
Yeah. The West is like the baby girl. You know, the baby girl in the family. You know,
that's me.
Me too. But the baby girl's got many times. I put it this way, because it's not like it's a done deal across the board. It just really depends on a lot of factors. But I have found that the baby in the family many times is very courageous. They try things that the rest of the family won't try. They'll leave the town where a lot of the other family decides to stay. You know, baby girl wants, because she's been raised with a little bit more freedom than the older brothers and sisters were privy to. You know what I mean? It's like there's something that she gets or he gets that is a privilege.
Thank you.
Truly, Lola Coleman, who was a brilliant nurse midwife, would become my friend. So she was also the midwife that delivered my daughter. My son was born in Manhattan at Roosevelt Hospital, and in a climate that was not conducive to me having the midwifery birth that I'd intended. And so many things went left. It was kind of good that I was at the hospital. But when I came to Los Angeles, and I found out I was pregnant like a couple of months later, the person that I was directed to meet was Lola Coleman. And Lola Coleman had assisted in the delivery of so many babies. And we became very close friends. And she would start a study group about a year later called African Minds United, and with Ashra Kwesi as the principal teacher, and many of the people, like the two people who started what was it called? The bookstore that used to be in Leimert Park. I can't think. S1. Mm-hmm. They were all part of the study group. James and I'm sorry, I can't remember your name right now. But all of them, we were all part of the African study group at Stella Holman. And we would do amazing events and bring Dr. Ben to town. And, we never got John Henry Clark here. But just having Ashra Kwesi was extraordinary. He was a great teacher. So they were my beginning influences. Lola Coleman, Ashra Kwesi, and then I would meet Michael Beckwith. And when I heard Michael Beckwith speak, and when he said hello, I just I could hear it. I couldn't hear my destiny with Michael, and what that was going to be, but that had been prophesied. So we would find that we were both prophesied for each other, and so those were my initial influences, folks who inspired me.
What was your favorite place or area in LA to go to when you first got here?
When I first got here, probably Venice Beach, because that's where I would perform.
Okay.
At the Sidewalk Cafe.
Yeah.
That was one of my first gigs. Ronald Multro, who was my second husband. Told you I did things fast. I got married between classes with the first husband. But mostly because that'll be another interview, But I thought my mom was going to die, and I just was not mature. I was a big little girl. I was real smart. I was smart, I had book smart, but I didn't have life smart. And my mother gave me ways to be a good girl, but not really a smart woman, And so I got caught off guard when I thought she was going to die, and my buddy, my homeboy from Charlotte, who went to Morehouse, was just waiting in the clutch for any moment when he could get in there, and he said, I said, I don't know what to do. I don't even know how to take care of myself. And he said, I'll take care of you. He said, I'll take care of you. And I was like, okay. And I worked harder than any other time in my life. But I learned to work though. And I learned so much in that first marriage, It was fast, and my mom didn't know, my family didn't know. It was just a big mess. But it ended up being fantastic for me.
What it needed to be at that time?
Yeah, well, because he was the reason I went to New York. He was like, you need to go to New York. And he believed in my talent, but he also believed in directing my life and telling me what to do, and not giving me the freedom to make my own decisions. So I didn't graduate, though I was a stellar student. I didn't graduate from college. That's something that I could clearly have done.
You enrolled in the University of Life.
I did. The hard knocks and bumps. But I became a songwriter though at Morris Brown College. That's where I went, to Morris Brown College, and I went there because the band was extraordinary. My mom was like, "You going to the school because the band is good?" I was like, "Yeah." I had never seen anything like it, and when I got there, it was amazing. I loved Morris Brown, and became a songwriter there, and the songwriter I became would be the destiny for my life. You know, only the songs would go from songs about love and I need to be needed for what I am, and you know, wine, to God is good. You know, that was the ultimate place, was to sing about a joyful heart and what it means to be at peace in God. Yeah.
Affirming, yes. So,
did I answer the question?
you did, as you needed to, as we needed to hear your answer to the question. So, because this seems to be going from LA centric to spirit and just life centric, which is beautiful. So, if you could talk a little bit more about your work here in this community, in your community.
Well, my work is my play, is my pleasure. It's what brings me joy, and for years, I have been a songwriter, and I love to write songs. I love to teach songs to people and to encourage them to sing, because I know the value of singing. I know what it does to heal a body and to heal a mind, especially if you're singing songs of with a high vibrational tone, So when my journey through Los Angeles, after about 7 years here, I ended up going to sing at a place that would be where I would be for the next 32 years. And inside of that 32 years, I wrote music that nurtured the body of the community and built the choir and helped to build the community, And when I was done. I knew I was complete. I knew I was complete with that assignment. And so the music that I wrote in those years not only was at the collective, that was at that spiritual community, but it was all over New Thought churches all over the world. So people were using those songs.
The songbook.
Yeah, they were using all the chants, the songs that I wrote. They're in unity churches, centers for spiritual living. They're in some Baptist, Protestant churches. A lot of people sing, I release and I let go. They sing these songs, and they use the music now. So what I do now is I still sing the songs. My work in Los Angeles is devotional. So I love to sing these songs of devotion, and I do it on Sunday mornings. And I left a church and started my own gatherings of what I feel church could be when it gets away from the political body of what it takes to build an institution and go into the village, the feel of the village, and the healing for the village. So that's what I do. I do my songs. I publish. I'm a publisher. So people reach out to me for my music. And where can I find your songbooks? Where can I find your CDs? When are you coming to do a concert? And I do concerts. I did a concert in Jamaica that was really very well received. I do retreats all over the country. I'm invited to come and be the guest at a women's retreat and bring the music and my teachings. When I'm saying my teachings, it's really the teachings of love. It's not like I got a teaching. After Jesus, we don't need no more teachers. And Khalil Gibran, he was bad boy. I love the prophet, and I love just beautiful writers who show us a higher way of being, and consider that the music that flows through me is that kind of teacher.
It is.
Far beyond myself being identified as a teacher, there is a teacher that shows up in the song. So that's what I'm here to do.
Yeah. Well, when you have a body of work, all that is what you teach. You've created it, you've lived it, and so yes, that
you share it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Beautiful.
Back to you.
So how can people support you in what you do?
By sharing the music. People can support my work by enjoying the work. I feel like when people enjoy what you do, when they can feel what it is you're saying, when they can feel your song, what happens after that is in divine right order. So if they want to find me, they can come to RickieByars.org and look at my calendar and see what it is and where it is I'm doing what I do. I'm on all the platforms, the streaming platforms for music, and my CDs are good, man. I got great CDs.
Yes, they are.
Man, I got a CD. I bet you don't even know about this one. I got a CD with a shout out from Michael Jackson that Georgia produced, and it was deep because she's produced. I think Georgia's produced 2 of my CDs, but my favorite was "My Oh My Time to Fly." That was great. But she's sung on almost all of my CDs, whether she produced them or not. But this particular CD, though, she was 24 years old, and I was like, should I be doing this project with Georgia? And Georgia brought all her hip hop beats and everything, and she just did her thing with my music, and she was just, it was different. It was a different kind of CD, and her partner at the time asked me. He said, why don't you see if you can get a shout out from Michael Jackson? All these famous people. So a shout out from Michael, a shout out from Maurice White of Earth, Wind and Fire, and a shout out from Kev Mo. So that was my assignment. And Michael Jackson actually called me and said, I did a shout out for you, and I sent it to you, and I want you to listen to it and let me know how you like it. And I was like, wow, and so then I listened to it, and I was like, oh, so sweet. He sent 3 different versions.
Oh.
He went in the studio and put music behind his voice and said, hi, Rickie, this is Michael Jackson. He's talking to me, right? And it's on the CD. It's on the CD. The name of the CD is Supreme Inspiration, and I believe that is called MJ Shout Out. Okay. But it's just as cute as it can be. And at his memorial service, people from his group came to me, and they were like, did you like what Michael did? Did you like what he did? And I was like,
of course, right?
Of course, it was incredible. And they were like, he really wanted to please you. I was like, oh, that's so sweet, that he was moved by me.
An artist.
And probably knowing that part has really seasoned my life in a beautiful way. Not just Michael, but many artists that are very well known are fans of mine. Even though I'm not big like they're big, but I'm dear, You know what I mean? Yeah.
Feeding those people who feed so many other people.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's a profound and very special place to be.
Yes. Yeah, I agree, and I'm so glad that part in me that wanted to be famous, that wanted to be known, kind of represented in the first and second marriages, got lived out. And it was Georgia that helped me with that. She said, "You're gonna get one day, mommy." When I was crying because somebody else was enjoying their moments of fame, you know what I mean? And they were very well known. And I'm thinking like, why they get to go, you know? And I was crying. My mom was on one side of me, Georgia was on the other, and she was just like 14, 15 years old, and she was rubbing my shoulder, and she's like, mommy. She's like, one day you're gonna get that the music that you do didn't come to make you famous.
From a 14-year-old?
She said it came to heal people. She said, one day you're going to know that your music, that you came to heal people, and that's going to be good enough for you. She said, that's going to be enough for you.
That's that midwife baby.
Yeah, and it is enough. That's right. That's the midwife baby.
Well, let me give thanks once again for this time.
It has been an honor and my pleasure.